Our brains are divided because the universe is divided. The fundamental contradiction in nature is between the simple and the complex. When our universe was formed, protons and electrons came together to create atoms, which were more complex than the particles of which they were made. Atoms created molecules. Molecules created bigger molecules. Macromolecules created structures, such as membranes. Structures created cells and the first life. Primitive life created more complex life and ecosystems. And eventually, humans. Humans emerged as small bands or tribes. And learned to create tools. But creating a tool is much simpler than raising an infant who grows into a child. And matures into a member of the tribe, and carries with her all the sacred knowledge of the tribe. So some things are more complex than others. The human brain has to deal with both simple things and complex things, and it must handle them differently. The structure of the human brain mirrors this division of labor, with the left hemisphere specialized to deal with simple things, often non-living things, and the right hemisphere specialized to deal with more complex things. For example, living or flowing things that have other things within themselves and which are often unpredictable. Let's look at how this works, starting with the bird, which must do two things at once. The simple task. The bird has to distinguish between seeds and small pebbles. Look at the color. Look at the size. Is it one or the other? That's an example of a simple task. The bird also has to look around and understand everything. Every leaf fluttering in the breeze. Every sound of every twig that falls. Every subtle pattern of any kind. And recognize a clear signal that may be hiding in a lot of noise. Is that moving shadow a friend or a foe? Or is it simply not important? This is a far more complex task. The simple task requires quick actions and speedy decisions. These behaviors may be like military actions in that they may result in clear defeat or victory, and success or failure is easy to measure and understand. Is that a seed or a pebble in my beak? The complex task requires a deep understanding and recognition of deep patterns. The complex task requires the integration of large volumes of information and sifting out and refining subtle patterns. And this requires more time, as there is more information to be processed. The hemisphere needs to understand what everything is in order to recognize what stands out or looks out of place. Let's check out how Iain McGilchrist describes this.
Well, it's not just we who have these divided brains. Birds and animals have them as well. I think the simplest way to think of it is if you imagine a bird trying to feed on a seed against the background of grit or pebbles. It's got to focus very narrowly and clearly on that little seed and be able to pick it out against that background. But it's also, if it's going to stay alive, it's got to actually keep a quite different kind of attention open. It's got to be on the lookout for predators or for friends, for conspecifics, but for whatever else is going on. Now, it seems that birds and animals quite reliably use their left hemisphere for this narrow focused attention to something it already knows is of importance to it. And they keep their right hemisphere vigilant broadly for whatever might be without any commitment as to what that might be. And they also use their right hemispheres for making connections with the world. So they approach their mates and bond with their mates more using the right hemisphere.
As humans in the modern world, we need to understand that all of us have, inside ourselves, two distinct minds. Both of these minds are us. One of these minds represents our inner core, our deepest self, and our connection to other humans and the larger universe. And one of these minds represents what should be, but not always is, the capable servant of our core self. This distinction, or duality, between our higher and lower selves is reflected in essentially all human culture, philosophy, and religion, including Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and the Judeo-Christian Muslim traditions. The striving for higher consciousness, for enlightenment, and for freedom from fear, cravings, and ego can be found everywhere. What has been newly learned in recent years is that all of this appears to have a solid basis in the evolution of the anatomy of our central nervous system. This concludes my presentation. What follows? Video appendix with some short video segments from YouTube on this and related topics.
Hi, John? Sorry I'm late.
Hi, you must be Scarlett.
Yeah, it's, nice to meet you.
The pleasure's all mine. Oh, here, take a seat.
Yeah.
That's Fear. He's really good at keeping Riley safe.
Easy, huh? Hi, back! Oh, we're good. We're good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we're back.
Here we go. All right, open.
This looks new.
Think it's safe?
What is it? Okay, caution. There is a dangerous smell, people. Hold on, what is that?
This is disgust. She basically keeps Riley from being poisoned, physically and socially.
That is not brightly colored or shaped like a dinosaur. Hold on, guys. It's broccoli! Yucky! Well, I just saved saved our lives. Yeah, you're welcome.
Riley, if you don't eat your dinner, you're not gonna get any dessert.
Wait, did he just say we couldn't have dessert?
That's anger. He cares very deeply about things being fair.
So that's how you want to play it, old man? No dessert? Oh, sure. We'll eat our dinner right after you eat this.
Right, here comes an airplane.
Oh, airplane. We got an airplane, everybody.
Airplane.